everybody, welcome back to Space Pickle Designs. Today we're going to take a look at the Sam's Bead box and berries and wine. So if you'd like to see that, then just keep on watching. So just apologies for my voice up front. I am sick, so I apologize for that. My toddler finally got me after he was sick. So this month's theme is berries and wine, and if you'd like to pause to see what's on this list in order, here you go. I'm just going to kind of go through it. First, we have an amethyst and garnet checkerboard faceted coin, 6.5 millimeters, and it's a 7.5 inch strand. And so you get 2 garnet, 2 amethyst, 2 garnet, etc. until you reach the end of the strand. And you're definitely getting your grapes and your wine colors in here. The faceting is pretty nice. I do like having different textures and shapes in bead boxes. So even though this is a coin, there is a checkerboard facet to it. Next up is a fire polish rondelle light amethyst lilac mix, 3x5 millimeter, and it's a 50 piece strand. And I'll get a little bead tray so you can see the color on that a little better. There's definitely a two-tone to the glass. This is probably my favorite item in the box. It's a tiger eye smooth round purple and fuchsia mix dyed, 10.5 millimeter, and there are 10 pieces. You can see the flash on here. I love tiger eye, regular tiger eye, red tiger eye, blue tiger eye, all the dyed tiger eyes. I'm just a sucker for the flash of tiger eye. And that one on the end is really cool. This is a check glass hibiscus in Celsian. It's 12 millimeter and there's 8 pieces here. And you can see that one side does have a finish on it. It's like a silvery goldish. It's like right in the middle of those tones. And so you can see through half the bead, and then the finish kind of takes over that other side of the bead. I'm not sure that I've seen this finish in person before, but it is interesting. It reminds me of vintage glass. Next up is a fire polish fancy faceted coin, Celsian, 9.5 millimeter 10 piece strand. And as you can see, these are imperfect. This one in particular right here is scratched on the front as well as chipped on the side. But it does still have that Celsian coating. It does show a little bit different on these coins than it does the hibiscus, as you can see, but these are an interesting shape, and I'm wondering if this is a vintage bead. If it's not, it definitely looks that way. But it's an interesting bead nonetheless. Next up is this check glass rose round pink golden luster in a 5.5 millimeter, and there's a 25 piece strand. And I don't know what it is about this cut. It's one of my least favorite check glass cuts. I think it's because it looks like little brains to me. It does not remind me of a flower whatsoever. But a lot of people love this cut. It just kind of disturbs me, if I'm being honest. But the color is really nice. Next up is a fire polish rondelle fuchsia crystal mix, 6x8 millimeter, and this is a 10 piece strand. And so yeah, you're definitely getting those wine colors in there. It's a very small sample of beads, as you can see. Just a little accent here and there. This one is a garnet pebble chip, 4 to 8 millimeter, and it's a 10 inch strand. So this one's kind of a wild addition to this box. It is very pretty. Garnet is very rich and deep. And even through the tray, it's hard to truly see the color until you hold it up to light. But it is a very dark wine color. And these are pretty smooth. They are not super spiky. So they're more on the nuggety side than they are the chip. Yeah, so pebble chip, that's perfect descriptor of it. This one is a fire polish drop Cabernet Red Silk Luster 6x8mm 12-piece strand. And this is like a wine with an oil slick. That's the color it looks like to me. Definitely like if somebody like got drunk at a 7-Eleven and then spilled some of their wine out while filling up their car, which they shouldn't be driving, and it mixes with the oil and the gasoline. That's kind of what it looks like. I was just gonna say that this does look like the color of like a deep rosé, and that's fitting because the name is Curved Petal Brio Pink Rosé 8x11mm 12-piece strand. This is the color. There is some spooning, so curved in the shape of like that instead of like the leaf bent. It's more of a spooned shape to it. But as you can see, there are some air bubbles within these brios this time. It is an interesting color. You don't see a lot of beads in this shade. We have a really pretty tiny faceted bead here and a scene. I probably said that wrong. Faceted round, heated, 3.3mm, 7.5-inch strand. I'll be interested to see the color or the size of the holes on these, because that will severely limit what it can be used with. But it is a pretty bead, and I will be interested to see what it looks like off the strand as well. But I do like the mixture of tones here, and I especially like this almost rutilated quartz looking bead right there. I accidentally skipped this bead. This is a check glass round in Celsian, and this is a 4mm. This is a 40-piece strand. So again, an interesting looking bead here, very shiny even in person, even without the studio lighting. They're very pretty. Last in our stranded selections is this check glass fairy tale flower, antiqued red, amber, mixed copper, 11mm, and there's 8-piece. The finish on this bead is amazing. It's outstanding. It's so different. It's weird. It's like a Picasso, but also obviously you can see the copper tones in there. And then the base bead is just a strange color too. It's a very orangey red. And so as for an addition to this box, it is perfectly aligned with some of these other rosé colors from a distance. When you look up close, they are a little different, but when they're at a distance, it really looks good. So this says hibiscus flower here, table cut, red crystal bronze, 22mm, and there's 1 piece, and it does say occasional imperfections, and as you can see, mine does have a sizable few air bubbles in mine. it is a very rich red tone. And just the color on that is pretty wild. This one's pretty cool. This is a check glass grape pendant. The color varies. I look like I got an amethyst color. And that says it's a 23 by 34 millimeter, and it's one piece. I believe I've seen this shape in one other color before, and that was like an opaque green, but I could be wrong. But I believe I've seen it one other time before. And I don't have one in my stash, so. Next is a check glass daisy heart. Color varies. 15 by 17 millimeter, and it's a 3-piece set. It looks again like I have got an amethyst. It's really hard to show kind of that color depth. I have to do a better job with lighting, but it's a very dark bead to begin with, and it looks like my daisies are in a copper wash. So you get 3 of those. Next up is a check glass fire polish faceted long drop purple opal bronze, 8 by 5 by 20 millimeter, 4-piece set. Occasional variance in shaping, and I do notice that there is some variance, especially between this guy and the rest. But the color on these is really cool. It's really hard for me to find a purple bead that I like. I'm not a huge fan of purple beads because I don't believe that they replicate the best purple, in my opinion, a lot of times. So I usually just stick with like a light amethyst, even though that's not my favorite shade of purple. But these opal beads here are really pretty. This is a check glass blooming rose focal, and the color varies. 14.5 by 17.5 millimeter, and it looks like I got like a full slipperet or Maria. And again, it kind of goes along the same line as these little guys up here. I have one of these in my stash. I believe it's like a labradorite color, like a silver color. And I just don't use them because they look so strange to me. Again, like a giant brain. Maybe I should do just like a brain inspired piece. And that's no knock to Sam's bead box, because this is a very popular bead. A lot of people love this bead, as well as the rose, the 5.5s over there. And so it's just something that, you know, when your brain sees once, it's kind of hard to unsee type of thing. And so that's kind of where I'm at with it. But the finish is beautiful, and I like that it's a little bit different on both sides. Next is this Pear Brio yellow opal Celsian and purple amethyst bronze, 12 by 15.5 millimeter 4-piece set. And yeah, I wouldn't have, like, a lot of the times when you have all these check glass finishes, this bronze one up here is a purple amethyst bronze, and there is no indication of amethyst in it whatsoever. And so it's like, you never know what you're gonna get when you make these combinations of check glass and finishes, but they're all pretty gorgeous. I really love those opal ones with the Celsius coating. This is a really pretty bead. This is a check glass long diamond garnet, a 7 by 24 millimeter 6-piece set, and it's probably hard for you to tell, but this is a very, very deep red, wine red color. And so I will have to try to play with my lighting a little bit more to see if we can see some of the depth of color through some of these beads. It's kind of difficult to tell when they are so dark, but it is a very dark red, just like the garnet and its namesake. This is a druck, in garnet luster in a 6mm size, and you get about 45 pieces. And you can never go wrong with a drug. The garnet color is very faint, but that luster is like a mix, very neutral in between silver and gold. It's very, like some look like some look like the other, but they are very pretty bead. Next up are some really nice brass metal pieces here. One is a flower link, and it's a 15 by 21mm 2-piece set, and that's what you're looking at in the front there. And then you have a filigree coin pendant, and it's a 31mm. And a lot of times with filigree, you get it and it feels very like you're gonna be able to destroy it. This is a very strong filigree. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And so are these links here. A lot of times I cannot bring myself to use the metal components out of a Sam's bead box, and I don't think this time will be any different, but I will try. But they are very pretty. Alright everybody, well thank you for struggling through this unboxing with me. This is the Sam's bead box for June 2024 in berries and wine. And please comment down below which bead was your favorite. I think for sure my favorite bead were the tiger eye here. I just love tiger eye so much. I especially like the metal components and these opal with Celsian brios. Those are just really cool. But let me know down below, and I hope everybody's staying safe and well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.